What would happen if African nations severed ties with the West? Would they be left isolated? Western powers often assume that countries like Burkina Faso can't survive without their support. However, nations such as Cuba and Venezuela have backed Burkina Faso's decision to turn away from Western influence, seeing it as a positive step, similar to the paths taken by countries like Iran and Russia. This shift hasn't pleased the West. President Ibrahim Traoré, who is leading these pivotal changes, has faced opposition from Western nations, which historically have reacted strongly to leaders who don't align with their interests. So the question remains, will history repeat itself?
In a stunning show of international solidarity, Captain Ibrahim Traoré has just welcomed military support from Venezuela and Cuba, two nations known for standing strong against Western domination. This bold move signals a powerful shift in global alliances as Traoré strengthens Burkina Faso's defense with like-minded partners. While Western powers watch nervously, African leaders and freedom advocates across the continent are cheering. Traoré isn't just defending his country, he's building a new world order, one where Africa stands tall, independent, and ready. Stay with us as we break down this major development and what it means for Africa's future. Traoré's strategic alliance with Venezuela and Cuba, a new geopolitical chapter for Burkina Faso. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's recent decision to welcome military support from Venezuela and Cuba marks a decisive pivot in Burkina Faso's foreign policy, a bold departure from traditional alliances dominated by Western influence. This emerging alliance is not merely tactical, it is symbolic of a larger ideological shift. By aligning with nations known for their long-standing resistance to U.S. hegemony, Traoré is signaling a new era of self-determination rooted in anti-imperialist values. Venezuela and Cuba bring more than just troops. They bring decades of expertise in asymmetric warfare, intelligence operations, and strategies for resisting foreign political and economic pressure. Both countries have weathered sanctions, isolation, and covert operations, yet remained sovereign. Their involvement in Burkina Faso suggests a significant transfer of tactical knowledge, potentially strengthening the country's fight against jihadist insurgents that have plagued the Sahel region. This partnership also serves a broader ideological purpose. It emphasizes solidarity among nations resisting neocolonialism and foreign exploitation of natural resources. For Traoré, whose leadership has emphasized Pan-African unity and national dignity, the move is consistent with his vision of a Burkina Faso that controls its destiny, militarily, economically, and politically. Unsurprisingly, Western powers have reacted with criticism, viewing the alliance as a threat to their strategic and economic interests in West Africa. Yet for many Burkinabe citizens, this shift is a powerful assertion of sovereignty. By embracing cooperation with Venezuela and Cuba, Traoré is not just enhancing national defense, he is reshaping Burkina Faso's role in a multipolar world order, inspiring other African nations to follow suit. Strengthening military capabilities through diverse partnerships. Burkina Faso, a nation often overshadowed on the global stage, is now the site of a seismic military maneuver that's sending ripples across NATO headquarters and Western intelligence circles. 1,700 Russian commandos, armed, coordinated, and highly trained, have just touched down on Burkinabe soil. Not in secret, not covertly, but boldly, in broad daylight, under the eyes of the world. This isn't just another troop deployment. This is a statement, a challenge, a message from the Kremlin to Washington, Paris, and Brussels. Russia is not retreating from the global chessboard. It's expanding its reach into new territory. Beyond the alliance with Venezuela and Cuba, Traoré has been proactive in diversifying Burkina Faso's military partnerships. Recognizing the limitations of relying solely on Western support, he has sought collaborations that offer both strategic and ideological alignment. One notable partnership is with Russia, which has provided military aid and instructors to enhance Burkina Faso's defense capabilities. This collaboration aims to address the persistent threat of terrorism and improve the country's overall security infrastructure. Additionally, Traoré's government has signed multiple cooperation agreements with Venezuela, covering sectors like agriculture, education, and oil. These agreements not only strengthen bilateral ties, but also contribute to the nation's development goals. By engaging with a diverse set of international partners, Traoré is building a multifaceted support system that reduces dependency on any single entity. This approach enhances Burkina Faso's resilience and positions it as a nation capable of making autonomous decisions in its best interest. Traoré's strategy reflects a broader vision of a multipolar world where African nations have the freedom to choose their allies based on mutual respect and shared objectives. It's a pragmatic approach that prioritizes national sovereignty and long-term stability, embracing Pan-Africanism and revolutionary ideals.
West African nation of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso have officially withdrawn from the Economic Community of West African States, that's ECOWAS. Now, this withdrawal marks the end of a year-long process during which ECOWAS tried to prevent the breakup. But despite this, ECOWAS has decided to keep its doors open and allow the three countries to maintain some membership benefits such as free movement within the region and trade privileges. Now, the withdrawal of these three countries is a significant blow to ECOWAS, which has struggled to address the region's challenges, including extremist violence and economic instability. The three countries have created their own security partnership, and this particular move raises a question. Is this a bold step towards self-determination or a dangerous unraveling of regional unity?
Traoré's leadership is deeply influenced by the revolutionary ideals of Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's former president known for his anti-imperialist stance. By invoking Sankara's legacy, Traoré is tapping into a powerful narrative of self-reliance and African unity. This ideological foundation is reflected in Burkina Faso's recent withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, alongside Mali and Niger. The creation of the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, marks a decisive step toward regional self-reliance and a unified stance against foreign intervention. It highlights a shared commitment to sovereignty, security, and a new political direction driven by local priorities rather than external pressures. Traoré's government has also strengthened ties with revolutionary governments in Latin America, including Nicaragua and Cuba. These relationships are built on shared experiences of resisting imperialism and striving for social justice. By aligning with nations that value sovereignty and self-determination, Traoré is positioning Burkina Faso within a global network of like-minded countries. This alignment reinforces the country's commitment to charting its own path and rejecting neo-colonial influences. Through these actions, Traoré is not only honoring Sankara's legacy, but also inspiring a new generation to embrace the principles of Pan-Africanism and revolutionary change. It's a bold vision that seeks to redefine Burkina Faso's identity and role in the world. Domestic reforms and economic empowerment.
His target is to improve development, employment, agriculture in Burkina Faso. And the way he did it is unbelievable. What you are looking at is 400 tractors, 239 tillers. The tillers, for some of you who do not know what it is a tractor that you can ride manually, like a wheelbarrow. And also motor pump, which is water pump. This is for irrigation.
Traoré's commitment to national sovereignty extends beyond foreign policy. It permeates domestic reforms aimed at economic empowerment. Recognizing the importance of agriculture in Burkina Faso's economy, his administration has invested in modernizing the sector. Initiatives include the distribution of over 400 tractors, 239 tillers, and 710 motor pumps to support farmers. These efforts have led to significant increases in crop production, enhancing food security and livelihoods. In addition to agricultural advancements, Traoré's government has prioritized infrastructure development. Projects like the construction of the Ouagadougou-Donson Airport aim to boost connectivity and stimulate economic growth. Education and youth engagement are also central to Traoré's vision. By improving access to education and vocational training, the administration is empowering the next generation to contribute meaningfully to the nation's development. These domestic reforms reflect a holistic approach to nation-building, where economic empowerment and social development go hand in hand. Traoré's policies aim to create a self-sustaining economy that reduces reliance on foreign aid and fosters national pride. Through these initiatives, Traoré is laying the groundwork for a resilient and prosperous Burkina Faso, driven by the collective efforts of its people. Navigating international criticism and upholding sovereignty.
Two of these diplomats are said to be political advisors. They have now been given 48 hours within which they must leave the West African country. The military junta that is currently ruling in Burkina Faso accuses them of engaging in subversive activities, but fails to go any further in giving details as to exactly what they have done. French authorities have rejected the allegations, saying they are unfounded and lack any legal merit. This is the latest in a series of diplomatic rows that have happened between France and Burkina Faso since.
Traoré's assertive policies have drawn criticism from Western nations, particularly regarding his alliances with countries like Russia, Venezuela, and Cuba. However, he remains steadfast in his commitment to Burkina Faso's sovereignty and self-determination. The expulsion of French troops and the termination of military agreements with France underscore Traoré's resolve to break free from neo-colonial influences. These actions have been met with both domestic support and international scrutiny. Despite facing sanctions and diplomatic pressures, Traoré continues to pursue policies that prioritize national interests. His administration's focus on diversifying partnerships and investing in domestic development reflects a strategic approach to resilience. Traoré's leadership exemplifies a broader movement among African nations seeking to redefine their relationships with the global community. By asserting autonomy and challenging traditional power dynamics, Burkina Faso is contributing to a shift towards a more equitable international order. In the face of criticism, Traoré's unwavering commitment to sovereignty serves as a powerful example for other nations striving to assert their independence and pursue self-determined paths to development, enhancing regional security through strategic alliances.
Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have come together to form the Alliance of Sahel States. Each is ruled by a military junta, and that's led to a split from the larger West African regional bloc, ECOWAS. The three military rulers have pledged to support each other against outside threats and internal security challenges. But can they find success by going it alone? Or will a divided Sahel region make regional challenges even more difficult to tackle?
Burkina Faso's security challenges, including threats from extremist groups, have necessitated a re-evaluation of defense strategies. Traoré's administration has responded by forging strategic alliances aimed at enhancing regional security. The collaboration with Russia has been particularly impactful, providing military aid and training to bolster Burkina Faso's defense capabilities. This partnership aims to address the persistent threat of terrorism and improve the country's overall security infrastructure. Additionally, the formation of the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, with Mali and Niger represents a collective effort to address shared security concerns. This regional alliance focuses on mutual defense and cooperation in combating insurgent groups. By engaging in these strategic partnerships, Traoré is enhancing Burkina Faso's ability to respond to security threats effectively. These alliances also signify a shift towards regional solutions and self-reliance in addressing complex challenges. Through these efforts, Traoré is not only strengthening national security, but also contributing to broader regional stability. His leadership demonstrates a commitment to collaborative approaches in addressing the multifaceted issues facing the Sahel region, cultivating national identity and cultural renaissance.
Faso's military ruler Ibrahim Traoré has launched the Thomas Sankara Mausoleum in the capital Ouagadougou. The Saturday event was attended by Senegalese Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko and Chadian Prime Minister Ala Maya Halina. The mausoleum is a commemoration of former Burkinabe President Thomas Sankara, who ruled the country from 1983 to 1987 and was credited for improving the country's development and growing its economy while relying less on outside help.
Traoré's vision for Burkina Faso extends beyond politics and economics. It encompasses a cultural renaissance aimed at cultivating a strong national identity. By embracing the legacy of Thomas Sankara and promoting Pan-African ideals, he is fostering a sense of pride and unity among citizens. Initiatives such as the inauguration of Sankara's mausoleum and the renaming of streets in his honor serve as tangible reminders of the nation's revolutionary heritage. These actions reinforce a collective memory and inspire a renewed commitment to the values of self-reliance. Instead, Traoré has launched campaigns to uplift local artists, musicians, historians, and storytellers, encouraging a new wave of cultural revival that recenters African heritage in the national consciousness. Schools are being reformed to teach Pan-African thinkers like Thomas Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, and Amilcar Cabral, leaders who championed African sovereignty long before it was fashionable. Monuments of colonial oppression are being replaced with statues of Burkinabe heroes. Traditional languages are being given prominence alongside French in official settings, signaling a push for linguistic pride and independence. This renaissance is not symbolic fluff, it's an intentional reprogramming of what it means to be Burkinabe, to be African. What makes Traoré stand out is that he doesn't just preach national identity, he lives it. He's often seen engaging in traditional ceremonies, meeting with tribal leaders, and publicly honoring the customs that were once sidelined under foreign rule. He understands that identity is power, and in reclaiming it, Burkina Faso is no longer just reacting to Western pressure, it's redefining itself from within. Through this cultural revolution, Ibrahim Traoré is cultivating a national spirit that's rooted in pride, history, and collective purpose. He's proving that resistance isn't just fought on battlefields or in parliaments, it's won in the hearts and minds of the people. And the West? It's losing ground, not just politically, but ideologically. A new chapter for Africa's future.
What if African nations decided to sever their ties with the West? Would they thrive independently? Or would they be cast into isolation? For decades, Western powers have assumed that Burkina Faso, and Africa at large, could not function without their economic aid and military presence. However, the recent shift in alliances suggests otherwise. Countries like Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, and Russia have openly expressed support for Burkina Faso's move towards self-reliance, encouraging the nation to forge a new path free from Western influence. Yet, this development is unsettling to the West.
What Captain Ibrahim Traoré is building in Burkina Faso isn't just a local revolution, it's a blueprint for African autonomy. By standing up to Western pressure, rejecting foreign military dependency, and welcoming support from countries like Venezuela and Cuba, Traoré has made it clear Africa no longer needs to bow to the old order. Instead of playing the role of a passive client state, Burkina Faso is stepping into its power, and in doing so, setting the stage for a new continental awakening. Across Africa, his approach is being watched with admiration and hope. Leaders and activists from Mali, Niger, Guinea, and beyond are taking notes. Traoré is showing that bold moves, when backed by the will of the people, can actually succeed. His defiance has encouraged other leaders to question Western military alliances and consider alternative partnerships that respect African dignity. This isn't about East versus West, or choosing one empire over another. It's about rewriting the script entirely. It's about sovereignty, cooperation on equal footing, and reshaping global politics from a Southern perspective. Traoré's message is unapologetically African. We can defend ourselves, feed ourselves, and lead ourselves. The West sees a threat. Africa sees a leader. Traoré is not just changing Burkina Faso, he's challenging centuries of exploitation with every bold step forward. And with every soldier welcomed, every flag raised, and every community empowered, a new Africa is emerging, unbought, unbossed, and unstoppable. Captain Traoré's alliance with Venezuela and Cuba is more than a military gesture. It's a statement to the world. Africa will no longer bow to Western control. With rising support from anti-imperialist nations and a growing movement across the continent, Traoré is leading a revolution not with words, but with action. As foreign influence continues to crumble, the people of Burkina Faso stand prouder than ever, backed by powerful friends who understand the fight for sovereignty. The West has been dealt a heavy blow, and a new era of African strength is emerging, led by none other than Ibrahim Traoré.